Hi guys, this is Jean Holden, producer of the show, and I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom for creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So, yes, you absolutely did the right thing. It was smart. I appreciate it. I think you were right to do that.
Okay, what has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? That man!
Yes, I am that man.
What are we going to do about the pancake master?
We need a costumed vigilante is what we need. Justice can't be served unless it's being fought outside the system.
Here's what we're going to do, eh?
Oh, shit. It's that man. Who is he? He's that man. He's talking. What should we do?
Oh, there he goes by in the Thatmobile.
The what? That mobile, his car. Go get him, that man.
Well, once upon a time, a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit, written by old Kev Smith. Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts. Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around. So I created a new show with one heck of a plan, and I'd call that show That Man on Fat Man, because we're going to chat about Kevin Smith. That's right, let's talk about old Kev Smith.
Yes, please note that use of all sound effects is done ironically.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode 3-31 of That Man on Fat Man. I am Scott Holden. I am alone right now. It's very late on Wednesday morning. And, we originally recorded a show, and then we essentially were going to can it, and then we weren't going to, to tell you the truth, I don't even know what to do anymore. All I know is the way I feel right now is as a person who, in the last year or so, couple years, recently openly came out. Gene and I both openly came out as, LGBTQ members of the community. We both identify as a married bisexual couple. For those who don't know that, I'm sorry if that's a shock to you, but that's just the way we are. So right now, I worry. It's the first time since we've come out that I sort of worry that maybe that wasn't the right choice. And why? Why do I worry about that? Because I'm worried about the fucking climate. It just does not feel very tolerant. So I'm nervous and worried for the first time since I made that decision that was it the right decision? And that's scary to me. So you can fucking flame me all you want. You can say whatever you want that I was wrong. I was totally wrong. I am flabbergasted that the nation put a man in power who's not going to get us anything that we need anymore. I mean, it's just, he's going to try and turn back the hands of time, and it's frightening. So are LGBTQ people going to be able to get married anymore? Or, climate change is now a myth. I mean, I just, up is down, black is white. What do I tell my kids? Like, they're already asking me questions like, oh, how can this happen? But the values and stuff that they've been taught, he's contrary to them. I'm sorry if you're a supporter and you find that offensive, but that's the truth. The guy won the election. I mean, how do we even tell our kids, play fair, play by the rules? I don't know. I'm just very, very, very bothered by all this. And I'm sorry that this is going to bum you out. So we're going to play some of the wacky, zany stuff we recorded earlier because maybe you do need a laugh. I don't even know anymore. I don't know what the fuck to do. All I know is I was definitely wrong. And fuck, I'm sorry. Jeez, I didn't vote for him. Anyway. Like most of the country, or like a lot of the people I know, everybody's just fucking, we don't know what to do. I don't see divisions healing very quickly, especially on social media. When the same crowd is like, oh my God. All right, well, enjoy this wacky, zany stuff that we recorded before, earlier today, before what happened last night happened. So, oh shit. So play a little bit of that, which will also lead us into our interview with Bob Hawk and Chris Bain, part 2. And we talk a lot about the screenings coming up this weekend. And I think that'll do it. I'm sorry if I don't sound myself, or I'm not like happy peppy guy. Yeah, I'm just, I talked to you. I told you how I feel, and now you can all go tell me to fuck myself. Thank you. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to That Man on Fatman. I am your host, Bain. That's right, Bain, Gotham's Reckoning. As was pointed out last week by my hero and namesake, probably my favorite actor. That's right, the one, the only Chris Bain. That's right, on this show we will feature part 2 of last week. I did not host last week, but I am here now. Unfortunately, I have to co-host this show. And with a woman.
Keep her close. He'll come for her.
And at this point, I would like to introduce Gene Holden.
Hi, guys. Hi, Bain.
Hello.
I like you, Bain. I know you like me, too. It's okay.
And then, when it is done, then you have my permission to die.
And as we sit here, we are waiting to find out if I will be on Donald Trump's cabinet as the Secretary of Pain. That's right.
So did Chris Christie call you and ask you to be on the cabinet?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have.
You did?
Yes, we had our meeting.
Wow.
I met with the transfer engineer, whatever the heck his name is, whatever they're calling him. I believe he's had lap belt surgery, but I really don't understand where.
Chris Christie. Yeah.
Was it in his feet?
I think so.
I have not seen any results of any.
No.
I believe when they do that, it's supposed to make you skinny. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, it's supposed to. It changes you lose your stomach, so you don't eat as much.
Yes.
So why is it that he is still quite rotund?
I don't know. He's a mess all around. He has a 19% approval rating in New Jersey.
Did he... Oh, maybe he's eating his feelings.
That's what I mean. I think so. A lot of people do that.
Yes.
He's eating his feelings.
Yes.
It's not good.
Impossible.
Yeah, he's not doing well, Chris Christie.
Yes.
It's a very bad way.
Well, on the other, so we sit here as we speak and wait for the election return results. Yeah. But I am on Team Bain. I am Trump all the way. Because, as I am Gotham's reckoning, Trump is America's reckoning.
Yes.
So you voted for Trump today, Bain?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in you. That's really bad.
Or perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
Or voting for Trump. Yeah, either or.
Well, I voted for Hillary, and I'm very proud to be voting for the first woman president.
Now's not the time for fear. That comes later.
So, I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry.
I feel very proud that I voted for the first woman president today.
Keep her close.
She's going to do great.
That's a lovely, lovely voice.
Thank you.
Do you know Donald Trump's election philosophy?
What is his election philosophy?
There can be no true despair without hope. So, I will feed people hope to poison their souls.
Okay. Do you think the average, Joe gets that?
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
You're so cliche, Bain.
Yes. I am the League of Shadows.
At this point, I think it's time that I sign off.
All right, enough of that. Thank you, Bain, for just stopping by.
Yeah, I don't like talking to Bain politically, though, because he's very, not on my page.
Yes, no, not at all.
He's not on your page.
He's a villain.
It's not you.
He's a bad guy.
So much better talking
He's
to you.
not a nice person.
He's not.
So this show falls on the heels very closely of our last show, which only dropped a few days ago, if you think about it. But really, we're doing this because we want to make sure that people get the word out. We want to get the word out about these screenings going on.
Yeah.
What will be, this will drop Wednesday, tomorrow.
Right.
So beginning Thursday evening, the very next day after this drops, starts the shenanigans.
Right.
And they start in New York City, which I believe is sold out, right?
Sold out, yeah.
So, well, we don't really have to bang the drum about that one.
Yeah, sold out. Chris Bain.
New York City premiere.
Shared about it.
Tomorrow, so it'll be tomorrow night as you hear this. Thursday, the 10th, in New York City, screening of Shooting Clerks is sold out. However, I guess there are still tickets available to the Friday night screening in New Jersey, which is at the Atlantic Highlands, Twin Cinemas. All the details for that are also on the website.
Right.
ThatManOnFatman.com. Go to www.thatmanonfatman.com. We've been having some problems. If you throw the www on there, you get there. What else?
And then the rest of the weekend is Bob Hawk's Film Hawk on Saturday, and then another Shooting Clerks on Sunday.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so check. You'll see all the screenings on the That Man on Fatman site, though.
Yes.
So all of them are there. You check out the discount codes and all that.
So, I guess the real business end of this show, since you're getting it so fast and so soon, is really the second part of our interview with Bob Hawk and Chris Bain, which now goes into more about Film Hawk and also goes into some of Bob's thoughts on Shooting Clerks, some of the other actors. I felt bad because Scott Schiaffo was mentioned, and I mentioned that, I think, on Facebook or somewhere. Yeah. He got nervous. He's like, oh, no, if you said something. And it was like, no, it's all good. But I forgot. I cut the episode in half, so
Right, and he was in
your
the
half
second
won't
part.
be till next part.
Yeah.
So well, there you have it. So now,
And it's all great things.
yeah. So in this episode, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting. Oh, I know what it is. Bane is still interfering in his own
Bane.
way. Yeah, he's picking up all my emotions.
Bane likes it to be about him. Bane likes...
I'm second that emotion.
See? You're there all the time.
I'm always here lingering.
What do you do? Just watch?
Smeagol likes to be here.
Yeah, you are kind of like me. I was thinking about
What are you
that.
talking about?
I am your dark side.
It's like that creepy guy.
I am your reckoning.
Yeah.
See.
He just kind of hangs around.
You see, Scott thinks that he was born in the dark and that the darkness is his ally. But he was not. He only adopted the dark. I was born to it. Raised in it. I didn't see the light until I was a young man, and when I did, I was blind.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes. That's a very misremembered.
That was a bit of theater there.
Yes.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
See, I got it wrong.
I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding.
I don't know. Yeah. You had a little hemorrhoid there or something at the end.
Pretty much.
I like when he changes up like that because it's so weird. I'm surprised I don't have.
Do your work.
But oh well. All right, without any further ado, because I'm just like off my rocker.
You're totally
off
your-
the rocker. Hang on. Whoa. Hey. Oh yeah. I'm getting zany, folks. It's getting crazy. Waka waka.
Down that rock.
Yeah.
Down the end.
Yeah, it's morning zoo time, everybody. Here we come with Chris Bain and Robert Hawk. I know how much he loves being introduced like that here. Wahoo! And I just got to say one more time. I just want to tell you how You're not feeling any of this, huh?
Just like out of your mind.
I need a bell and a whistle and
You
all
do.
those
You need like
fucking-
a cane. And all
Yeah,
that.
let's get crazy.
Take
Oh
it.
yeah, we're going crazy.
When Cameron was in
Doesn't even make any sense.
Grace! Grace!
Oh my god.
Grace. Fuck me and make me forget we got a stupid kid. Coming, John.
All right, enough of me, enough of you, enough of all this stuff. Let's finally give the audience what they want, which is part 2 of Bob Hawk and Chris Bain.
And now, here's our guest.
Did you like Tusk? Have you seen Tusk?
Yes.
Okay. Did you like Tusk?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, because I understood Kevin's multifarious, oh God, I just had the word and I lost it. His multifarious sensibilities, interests, his
genre mashing.
Yes. And it was, I would say it was avant-garde Kevin Smith.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And it had its integrity. It was not for everyone.
No, no.
And he says that, and he says Yoga Hosers isn't for
No, it's
everyone
not.
either, you know. But that's fine.
But you know what it is for? It's for 15-year-old girls and for 17-year-old boys because we brought them, and they enjoyed it very much so. So it was like
sure.
it reached them, which is the key.
And also, when I watch anything by Kevin, I'm able to fill in a lot of background and inner knowledge And so, you know,
I love that he leaves Easter eggs too and does stuff like that for the fans.
Yeah,
when he makes a movie. And you guys did a lot of that in Shooting Clerks.
Yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs and cameos and stuff like that. There's a lot. There's too many for me to even think about.
Mm-hmm.
There's ones in there that I don't even realize there were.
Yeah, I know that you got like 90% of the original cast.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's great.
So there's only a few people that couldn't. I think we didn't get Jay. Jay wanted to be in it.
So weird.
But we just couldn't lock him down.
Yeah, you figured that'd been a slam dunk.
Jeff Anderson as well, and I think that's really it. I can't think of anyone else. I think we got everyone else. So we got Brian, Marilyn, Kevin's in it, of course.
Yeah. Who was it? Obviously, unless they passed away, like that one guy who was, what was it? I'm never going to come in here again. I can't remember. If you've ever seen the movie, he like gets water spat on him. I love his delivery. That's the only reason I remember him. I always loved his delivery.
It's worth mentioning that at some of the screenings, I can't remember which one, either the New York or the New Jersey one. Worry. I know we're going to have Scott Schiaffo.
Yes.
Brian O'Halloran's going to be there. Ernie O'Donnell.
Yep.
Scott Schiaffo plays Kevin's dad.
How's the performance?
It's beautiful because he's not trying to imitate Kevin's father at all, because no one knows Kevin's father other than people who would know him in real life, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful performance as far as, you know, again,
I love that happened
affectionate.
Me too. Scott Schiaffo's an amazing guy.
Because Scott also was like, he was our first guest from the Viewist universe.
On the show.
And so we've sort of followed
Such a good guy.
through this movie and as well as some other things. That's really cool.
He's been unwell, so we wish he loved
Also,
Scott.
I must say that the woman who plays Kevin's mother, Grace, also captures a certain essence.
Oh, that's Beverly Longhurst.
Yeah. And you know, she's a lot younger than I've known Grace for I don't know how many years now, but I've known Grace since '93, I guess. But the actress is a lot younger, and she doesn't try to play older, and somehow she captures something about Grace that is authentic.
You didn't even. All I've seen is a trailer, and I just it's Kevin's mom. I mean, you know, it was like bang. You just didn't even. It's the jumpsuit. It's the whole thing.
Do you know
she's doing the milk scene?
Chris did really well with, I think, with getting people. Is just. I mean, it's not a big issue, you know, if the performance is there, that's the main thing. But I think he did really well with getting actors that had a kind of likeness to, you know, their real life counterparts as well.
Yeah, but he had to do it in Scotland, where they, you know, like you guys are going to just have an accent right out of, so that like 90% of your population is just like gone. So there's most of our casting is out the window. So you guys really had a challenge.
By the way,
a lot of people from Manchester and things like that too.
Yeah, Chris, I'm interested. There, the vast majority of you do great accents, eliminating the Scottishness. But there are two women who don't even try, and I'm sure it's on purpose. But there are two women in the film with these heavy brogues, and I wonder what that was all about.
Is one when there's a woman trying to buy milk?
Yeah,
that's Chris Downey's mum.
Yes, that's right.
He wanted to put her in it, and I don't think he even asked her to do an accent. I think he wanted her to be Scottish.
Yeah,
which you can kind of tell because she's got a really quite a heavy sounding Scottish
yes.
accent. What was the other one?
There was one other who had an accent, and and I can't remember because I've only seen the movie once. And it was just, you know, a brief moment. But there's one other female. I'm sure it's a female who also had an accent. Whoever it was not trying for an American accent, so I don't know.
No, I think anyone that's deliberate, especially with Chris's mum, I think that was definitely a deliberate decision. I think because there's been jokes made that it's been made in Scotland and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think he just wanted to have a bit of Scottishness, in it, which I guess is kind of nice.
He did. I remember him mentioning that he did put his mother in the movie, and it was kind of the whole thing is sort of a nod to Kevin's mother in its own way.
Yeah.
So, and having not seen it yet, I don't know. So. I can't wait.
She did well. I think she nailed her scene.
Oh yeah. Oh well, she was very forceful. She was very confident.
Yeah.
No shy, wilting violet there.
What's the runtime on it?
It's about 1 hour, and it's about an hour and a half.
Okay,
just
so 90 minutes
about.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good time.
Yeah,
that's a good time.
I think it was originally going to be.
Well, a 2-hour comedy can be crushing.
It's hard to be.
Originally, I think it was going to be 2, and I think. I mean, again, I'm not a filmmaker; I'm just an actor. But I think, for me, having a 90-minute runtime was a good decision. I thought.
Oh yeah,
that's always been Kevin's rule of thumb too.
Yeah,
he always talks about 90-minute comedy.
Yeah,
you can even go 88.
Maybe.
Really, 88 compared to 90?
Isn't that funny? But you'd be surprised what 3 minutes means.
Yeah, that's 2 minutes.
Hey, how about this? Okay, I'll give you an example of a movie. Okay,
it's 3
minutes. I'm gonna quote our friend Indy Mac user, also big supporter of Shooting Clerks.
Ben Montgomery.
Yep, and he made an observation, and this was of Batman versus Superman.
Okay.
When I had the same reaction when you saw what was supposed to be the extended cut, which obviously was supposed to be the real cut.
It was a better movie.
It was 3 hours, and it felt faster than the 2.5-hour cut that they put in the theater.
Oh yeah, time is an illusion.
Yeah.
In art, there are movies that are an hour and a half that seem endless, and you say, when will this be over? But like there are movies like
the first 20 minutes of Eraserhead.
I know.
Or like take Deer Hunter. It was 3 hours long, but I didn't even have to pee. In other words, I
had Dances with Wolves too.
I was so compelled that. And I did not get itchy or I wasn't tapping my foot at all. I was totally drawn to time is an illusion completely.
Yeah.
Because some very long things you say, oh my God, that seemed to go like greased lightning.
Right.
It's about story pacing and about, getting to, and that was the thing. If you see when we saw the cut of that thing in the theater, so much connective tissue had been removed to scrunch it into 2.5-hour runtime for theater turnover, that it just killed the fucking movie.
It didn't make sense
I don't know. Yeah,
it didn't make sense without that other information.
Well, it's not that it didn't make sense, but it
flow.
also didn't. Yeah, it
flow.
just felt clunky. Yeah. So pacing can be everything, and there you go.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
So there you go. An example of
now
you
did
can get
they
a
do
longer
that?
cut that's better than a shorter cut.
Did they do that just to sell more in the DVD?
No, it had more to do with theater turnover. So when they cut a movie that's a 3-hour movie down to 2.5, usually that's why, because they want to get people in and out of the
It's
street.
greed.
Yeah.
It's greed. But in the old days, if a film like The Deer Hunter was 3 hours, they honored that.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
And they just had one less show a day.
Yeah.
But
if it was selling out, they didn't care.
Well, also artistic integrity. You know?
Yeah.
But it's a half an hour, though. It's not like we're dealing with like a couple hours. It's a half an hour of a movie.
But if you have, it's the difference between 5 or 6 shows.
Yeah.
A day,
because that half hour piles up.
4 or 5, so it does accumulate.
Yeah.
But
I forgot. It's about the money.
No movie should be cut down in order to get more shows in.
No.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, okay. Now, there was a discussion on this on Facebook with Vinny. because this is a big touchstone film for him. Now, I was in a screening of that in 1980 as a kid. My brother and I were taken to see that, and all I remember is I'm 10, so I felt like I was being punished. I remember being bored and in the dark for several hours.
And it was unwatchable when they cut it down, but I saw the full version, and it was rich and full. And the same thing, they did it with Once Upon a Time in America.
Oh, okay.
Sergio
Spaghetti Western.
Leone's film. It was not a Western. It was a gangster.
Once Upon a Time in America. Okay, I'm thinking of
Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah, there's also the West. But yes.
It is, I don't know how long it is. It's 3 hours at least, or more than 3 hours.
I remember in the old days it was 2 videotapes.
But they
were
were afraid of the running time, and I think its initial theatrical release, they cut it down to under 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was it was like a skeleton. And it is such a great movie. I love that movie. And I watched that without having to pee also.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I see that you need to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. I'm going to have to wrap up, unfortunately, guys. As much as I'm enjoying this this chat.
So, spread the word. I'd love to have as many of you guys on as we can fit in the studio, or we'll come.
We'll certainly try.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Chris, I know that we're going to be quite tight because we're doing so much.
Of course.
I just wanted to mention really, really quickly, because obviously we're trying to get people to come along.
Yes.
On the 10th, we're at the Anthology Film Archives.
Yep.
And then the 11th, we're at Atlantic Highlands, Atlantic Cinemas 5, which is where Kevin used to apparently watch films when he was a kid.
With his dad.
I'll just say really quickly as well, if anyone listening wants to come, if you go onto our Shooting Clerks Twitter, Shooting Clerks Facebook, and you go to buy the tickets.
Which incidentally is facebook.com/Shooting Clerks on Facebook.
Believe so, yeah, and he's just Shooting Clerks on Twitter. If you follow the links to buy the tickets for either the New York screening or the New Jersey screening, before you get to the PayPal payment screen, there's a redeem code section, and it's worthwhile mentioning. For the New York screening, if you type in _blunt connection _ I think that's it.
Okay.
You get 37% off the ticket.
Oh, wow.
Which is $15, and it's the same with the New Jersey one. It's GUM _unlock, and that's 37% off, which means the tickets are only $15 if you use the codes.
Gotcha.
So it's worthwhile mentioning that, because we're just trying to get as many people along as possible. And as I say, if you just go online, Facebook, Twitter, you'll be able to see what we're offering. But it's not just the screening. You're going to see a bunch of the shorts. We got a free raffle where you can win a prototype Jay and Kevin action figures made specifically based on myself and Mark Frost's likeness.
Cool.
From Shooting Clerks. So there's a bunch of stuff you can
So it's safe to give out those codes? Because I got word of them, but I wasn't sure if we could fully distribute them. I thought it was like, hey, for your friends and family, you can give them know about this code.
Double check with Chris, and he was like, "Tell them."
Okay.
Tell them about
okay. So we can promote it full. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
And
I'll put it on our web and shit. Okay.
And Chris, you can pass the word along to all your gang. I would appreciate it if at your screenings on the 10th and 11th that you plug the screening of Film Hawk.
Oh, we will for sure.
The 12th. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure, yeah. Anyone listening, go see Film Hawk. It's fantastic. I loved it.
We've been promoting all 3 of these events for several weeks now. So anyone who's been listening, they're in. Our regular listeners are pretty much in the loop, but it never hurts to keep pushing.
You can't say you didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't warn you.
And Bob, good luck on your own screening. Which I'll see what we're doing. I don't see why we couldn't come along. So if we can get along, we will. And Scott and Jeanette, I look forward to meeting you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you Thursday.
Can you just say one line for me? Can you just say Can you say what the fuck did he say? Something about Couch a Club. Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you see Star Wars, the latest Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a Scottish guy who's a gangster in the scene on the Millennium Falcon where the monsters get out.
Yeah, why didn't I get that part, right?
Yeah,
why
what did he
didn't
say?
Because you sound just like him.
But what does he say, though? Say
There's
it.
something about Country Club, but I don't know his line, so I was hoping that as a Scot you would know it. Like, I know every Scots line who's ever uttered in every show.
Culture Club, right?
Yeah.
Karma Chameleon.
Was that what he was talking about? I don't even know.
Probably.
It was another gang group.
Culture Club.
No, but it was a different name.
Oh.
All right, well, I'll cut all this so no one will know it even happened.
You can.
Hey, Chris.
Always cut the duds.
Yeah.
I'm sending you a big hug.
I'm sending you one back, Bob.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is so cute.
How about a beam me up, Scotty?
All right, Ratty, we're all quiet. Go ahead.
Or the ship can't take much more to this, sir. She's about to blow.
Ruining it.
What's the actual line? I don't watch Star Trek.
The ship can't take much more of this, sir. She's about to blow.
The ship can't take much more of this, sir. She's gonna blow.
Oh my God, that's so good. Woo!
It was more Scottish than Scott.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Scotty.
Yeah. He was actually Irish.
Yeah.
Was he? James Doohan. Oh, yeah. I think it was American, actually.
That's even
We've been talking
funnier.
a lot about how Americans like to tell that they're another nationality, even though they're really American. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry.
No, I was just kidding. We got a lot of that in Orlando. We got a lot of people telling us that. But it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice that people are interested. So,
yes.
But no, guys, I'll leave you to it.
Yep.
Thanks again.
We'll see you Thursday.
I'll see you next week. And Bob, hopefully we'll be able to catch up.
Yes.
But we'll keep in touch on all the social media and whatnot anyway, man.
Let's try to arrange, if possible, a meal.
Yeah.
When
I'd like that.
neither of us is screening. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'll catch you on Facebook. We can maybe try and organize something with the guys. But no, that would be good. I'd really like that.
Okay.
Cool.
Bye, Chris.
We're looking forward to see you soon, and thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
No problem.
Bye.
Okay. Bye now.
I don't even have to do anything. I just...
And
he's gone.
And he goes, bye now. So cute.
I just like getting that. I love the accent.
Accent. My gosh.
I love it.
Yeah.
He's adorable. He's adorable, that one.
So now, Bob, tell us about like the rest of your year. Like, what else happened?
Well, there's something about this year. It's like no other year of my life, because when before have I had a film about me? But I already talked about what it was like at Sundance, and the great world premiere where John Cooper and Kevin Smith co-introduced it, and that link on YouTube will be provided. And the journey has been incredible. Soon after Sundance, there's a festival in San Jose, California, called CineQuest, and they've, from year one, called themselves the Maverick Film Festival. And they're all about independent film. And so I was very honored, besides them screening Film Hawk, is that I received a Maverick Spirit Award. And
you seem to be getting a lot of those of late.
Well, I got a Maverick Spirit Award, and they don't give out just one. They give out 2 or 3. And the other recipients of the Maverick Spirit Award this year were James Franco and Rita Moreno.
Wow.
So that is
diverse.
That is diverse.
That's an eclectic pick. So you have James Franco, who Gene loves, who I'm surprised isn't
I
chiming.
love James Franco.
She's too busy in her phone over there.
We actually saw him in something last night. Wasn't he in something that we saw last night?
We were. I threw on what was it? Knocked Up. Just for old time's sake. We hadn't seen it in a while.
And he's in that?
Yeah, he just does a little cameo as himself.
Yeah.
Like he's on the E channel or something.
Yeah. Oh yes, he is. He's in that. Yes, that's what it was. He's great.
So anyway, that was fun. And then we were in. By the way, as we've well established, I'm queer, and it's interesting that the film has shown in both quote-unquote straight festivals, and then there are LGBTQ festivals. And so we've played both. And before the oldest and largest LGBT film festival in June, we showed in a little in that it's up in Maine, and it's just not a large festival, but it's an LGBT film festival in Maine, and it's got a great name. I love it.
What is it?
It's called Emerge. The Emerge Film Festival. And everyone talks about coming out, and all that. But the
They're
word
emerging.
Emerge is...
I like that name.
As if from a pupa.
Yeah.
So we've been as far north as Maine. And then in June, the Frameline LGBTQ Film Festival in San Francisco is the oldest and largest festival of this kind in America or the world. And one of their main venues is the Castro Theater, which is this restored movie palace that seats 1,400 people. And it was built in the early 1920s and has been beautifully restored and has a theater organ and a huge screen. Anyway, and was the 40th anniversary this year of the festival. And each year they give the Frameline Award to one person. And it is kind of a lifetime achievement award, even if your life is not over. They only had one posthumous Frameline Award to Divine. It was after she died. And John Waters was there to accept the Frameline Award. But I was extremely honored, thrilled to get the Frameline Award on their 40th anniversary and to have our film with a new beautiful sound mix and sound design on that giant screen, and to have people from my life, people going back 30 and more years who were there and I didn't even know they were there till afterwards. Some people I had not seen for 25 or 30 years. And it was mind-blowing and a little bit overwhelming to see people that you do care about and just your lives have, taken different paths, but they were there. And so after the movie, I didn't know they were there beforehand. I knew who some people were there from various parts of my life. But I mean, I was just like, whoa. So that was really great. So I won the Frameline Award. Then we went to L.A. to Outfest, another LGBTQ film festival.
Okay. When was this, roughly? When was that film?
July.
Okay, so we're already in month 7.
Frameline is in June and Outfest is in July.
Couple of questions. For a Sundance, I don't know if you recall, but it was weird because a high school class from my kid's high school ended up going to Sundance, as they do every year, and they saw the screening of Film Hawk. Do you recall them saying anything or being there or calling themselves out or anything?
I don't think they call it. And now there are actually 4 screenings.
Okay. I think they were at the first.
Film Hawk.
I think they were at the first. At Sundance.
Okay, then they were there at 8:30 on Sunday morning.
Yeah. I assume so, which makes sense for a high school group.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know if they made themselves known to me or not. I really don't know.
Okay. I'm just curious.
I can't remember only because so much.
Yeah.
This
it's
has
a
been
whirlwind. It's a whirlwind.
Full year. Anyway, Outfest was very special. Well, it was screened in one of the best screening rooms in L.A. at the Directors Guild of America in the big auditorium where members of the Directors Guild have their screenings for the industry and everything. So it's a pleasure to see a movie there. And once more, it was at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and there was a good turnout. But who came and introduced the film?
Whom?
Kevin Smith.
Oh my dear.
Kevin
Who's
Smith.
That guy again?
Who had a gig? He does a dual stand-up or something at
Hollywood Babylon.
Hollywood Babylon.
Yeah, so we're
at a club.
Yeah.
In L.A. He had a late gig on Saturday night. Who was there on Sunday morning?
The man himself.
And because it was an LGBT festival, and he has an older brother who is gay, and he gave a very targeted, beautiful introduction to the film, to that audience. And that is on YouTube also, and this podcast will give that link.
Go to ThatManOnFatman.com. We will post all these links. You'll be able to access all this footage.
So there are two introductions. One at Sundance, and then Kevin did a beautiful 6-minute introduction in L.A., and it's on YouTube.
I did see the introduction footage for... Maybe it was Shooting Clerks. He did something for them, too.
Oh, he went on video.
Yeah.
And he introduced the film. He also found out that they won the Indie Spirit Award. Yes. And he went on video to congratulate them on their award. And then, I didn't know, but all of a sudden Kevin came on again. This is in Orlando now.
Yes, yeah. Which was...
right after Shooting Clerks won the Indie Spirit Award. This tape came on, and Kevin began talking, and I thought it was a follow-up for Shooting Clerks. And I began to realize, and I was totally gobsmacked. I had no idea. I didn't know there was an Indie Icon Award, which is a rather impressive lucite thing.
Icon.
That they're bringing to me personally. Someone connected with the festival lives in New York, because I never get through security at the airport with this award. It has a very pointed top. It could be a weapon. Anyway, I received the Indie Icon Award.
Yes.
So, 3 awards this year.
That's amazing.
Woo! But anyway,
couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
It's screened in Philadelphia during this summer.
Okay.
And I couldn't be there because it was screening the opening night of Outfest, and I had to do the red carpet. And it wasn't a red carpet, and it wasn't a pink carpet either, which is very gay, of course.
Rainbow?
It was a fuchsia. Fuchsia carpet.
Hot pink.
But I had to do that carpet, and boy, I was interviewed and photographed a lot, and I ended up on a live feed for The Advocate, the magazine.
Oh, cool.
That's great.
And that's on YouTube too. I mean, God, everything's on YouTube. I'm.
Were you doing runway commentary like Joan Rivers, or were you? Yeah.
That's the fashion police.
Well, they asked me. It was right after Orlando.
Oh.
And so it was rather serious because they asked me a question, and it was kind of about. They didn't specifically say Orlando, but you knew what they meant.
Yeah, the nightclub shooting.
So anyway, I had to really, switch gears.
Yeah.
And so, but by the way, one other thing. When I was in Orlando, someone drove me over to where the Pulse is.
Yeah.
And they have now put up a wire fence around it because it immediately became...
Okay, we're back.
Okay. So someone drove me over to the Pulse, and it immediately became a kind of a gathering place to pay respects, to pay homage. But people were beginning to take souvenirs. And so they fenced it off completely, but it's still a place. They had local artists create. The fence is completely covered with art, and they have felt pens where you can write a message. And there are candles, and there are flowers, and there are photographs. And it was very meaningful to be able to go there. And it
puts things in context.
It really, out of all that carnage and senseless tragedy, the messages, the art and the words and everything were all about love and about honoring lives. And so anyway, that was part of my Orlando experience. That was, you want to know
what's weird? Actually, I had this conversation. This came out organically, but I was talking to my daughter. My 15-year-old daughter is in high school. We were talking about this creepy clown thing because I want to say a few weeks back, their school was one of the schools that got one of these internet threats from one of these accounts. And so we just had this conversation. But next thing I know, I'm so glad because I know that my daughters have the same mindset. They have drills in school, and I'm like, you don't want to hide in a closet. You don't want to hide in a bathroom. Your job, if something like that happens, is to get the fuck out of that building as quickly and as safely as you can. Don't, because you're like, and she agreed, because all these stories now, all you hear about is people who barricade themselves in the bathrooms, which is like a death trap. And the fact that I even have to have this conversation with my daughter in a normal context is very disturbing.
Yeah, except that if there's gunfire just all over,
get down.
Sometimes you want to get down.
Yeah.
Some people choose to play dead. But if you're crawling and the gunman happens to see you, there really is.
The ultimate goal, though, should be to remove yourself from that situation as quickly as possible.
I don't know how you drill for it because, like in the 50s with the atomic bomb, this duck and cover where pupils went through where you ducked under your chair.
Because that was going to protect you from a nuclear blast.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't Indiana Jones use a refrigerator? He did in the fourth movie.
I didn't see the fourth movie.
It's okay.
But if you close yourself in a refrigerator, don't you suffocate?
Well, the whole idea was it was lead lined because it was in the 50s at this point.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. So it's a lead line, so that'll make it survive a nuclear blast. Not to mention that he was thrown like literally miles in the blast and still survived. So, I mean, it was one of those suspend disbelief moments.
Anyway, I'm going to go back to the art of Film Hawk in 2016, and I was saying that I couldn't be in Philadelphia, but most of my family is from South Jersey. So my brother and my niece who are in the film, and then various relatives, nephews, great nieces, cousins, and cousins-in-laws. But anyway, I could not be at the Philadelphia screening, but that was the screening that a lot of my family went to. So,
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I just wish I could have been there, but
I was actually honored to sit next to your brother during a screening of the movie once.
In New York,
yes,
a private screening.
We went
which
to
we
Brooklyn.
were very honored.
Wasn't it in Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kickstarter hosted it because we got some pre-production funding from a Kickstarter campaign.
Yes.
Nice.
And then
it was a very nice place too.
Oh yeah.
I like that
Are you
place.
tapping? Oh, you're
okay. And then I just want to talk about, before Orlando, the month before Orlando, we played Austin. And Austin,
South by Southwest or?
South by Southwest is in March. It's called AGLIF, which is Austin Gay Lesbian International Film Festival. And what a great bunch of people they were, and that southern Texas southwestern hospitality.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, there was a lot of love for the film and for me, which I appreciated. But boy, I got driven all around. They really took good care of me, and boy, did I eat well. And I didn't win an award, but I played double duty. Not only was I the subject of a film that was screening out of competition, I was on a jury that gave an award.
Oh, nice.
So that was fun.
So you've done like everything this year.
Oh yeah, and I've been through the years. I've been on a lot of juries. Needless to say, around the world. But
so you, as most folks know, and if you don't, Bob was one of the founding. What were you, judge or members of the Sundance Film Festival Committee?
2 years after Robert Redford took over, the film festival that was in Utah called the United States Film Festival in '85, he established the Sundance Institute. In '84. The Institute and the festival are two different things.
Yeah.
Well,
what was it like being someone who had such a deep, rich experience with the festival now being a subject?
Well, first off, I need to put everything in context.
Mm-hmm.
He took over in 85. In 87, I was at the Film Arts Foundation in San Francisco.
Okay.
I got a phone call from Sundance asking me if I would be on the advisory selection committee. Little did I know that they were scrambling to find enough films to show. Now, you have to remember, independent film as a commodity, as a genre, people didn't talk about that. There were other words, underground,
budget, B movies.
No, not B movies. Low budget movies.
Yeah, low budget. Yeah.
But independent. But the word independent was used to characterize. Some people called it regional cinema, or was underground, or was avant-garde, or was this, or was that. But the term independent film as an entity,
the branding, if you will,
crept in at about this time, the mid-'80s, okay? And so, I, being at a film organization, an independent film organization, a nonprofit in San Francisco, I was called, and other people were called around the country who were in the field of film. And we were asked to be on a committee to feed in titles. I had my finger on the pulse of Northern California independence, particularly the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
But there were people from around the country at arts organizations, at museums, film exhibitors. So they were scrambling to find enough films to show. Believe it or not, it was very laid back. It was kind of rustic and rural in Park City, Utah. There weren't hordes of people. There was lots of room to move around. So that's how I began my association. The first real change I noticed was the year after Sex, Lies, and Video.
Oh, yeah.
Premiered. I was at the world premiere, and I asked the first question in the Q&A after, and I've known Steve Soderbergh ever since. And it was just, after that, there was more attention, more of a spotlight.
It kind of became like the hit maker.
On Sundance. Then, in the early 90s, I think the year before Clerks.
The Slacker year or whatever.
Slacker, but the film that really ignited, and I was at the world premiere of that too, Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
of course.
God. And Quentin Tarantino, who was young at the time, younger than he is now, ha ha ha, but he was this whirling dervish of energy, and I'll never forget the Q&A afterwards. He couldn't stand still, or his Q&A, he was ejaculating all over the place verbally and going up and down the aisle. He was this ball of energy.
I've seen a bit of that. Kevin put out some, it's in bonus footage on Clerks 2. He did a screening originally for Robert Rodriguez and for Quentin, And he has some of the reaction of them talking, and Quentin is very much like it, very animated.
Oh, yes.
And excited and talking. Like he talks about it in person. He very personalizes everything. And so I get an idea for what you're talking about.
So, anyway, I began going to Sundance in 1987.
Okay.
And as it turns out, that was the first year I went to the Berlin Film Festival because I helped a wonderful woman who was at the New York Foundation for the Arts, Linda Hansen, who is briefly in Film Hawk. She established, with Kodak backing, the American Indie booth in Berlin, and I helped there. And so I was going to Berlin and Sundance beginning in 87. Now...
Is that like the nudie booths where the jizz moppers work?
No.
Sorry, that was a Clerks callback for those really big fans out there.
It sure was. But anyway...
a jizz mopper. Anyone know how much a jizz mopper makes an hour?
The point I'm trying to make is that I saw Sundance evolve over the years, that by 1998, when this advisory selection committee was officially disbanded, it was no longer needed. I mean, there are more than enough entries, and
tastemakers,
but they said, we always want to hear from you people, we who are on the committee, if you see something, because with the volume of entries into the festival now, which is huge, things can get lost. And so if you flag something, maybe it won't get lost.
Yeah.
And so it's now informal. I'm not on any committee, but every year I tell them, you should be sure and watch blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah,
Okay. No, my point being, so knowing that you had this huge past, but you were an insider. You were like, in film terms, it's like you were on the director's side, but now you were on the talent side this year.
The experience of being at Sundance with Film Hawk.
Were you like the belle at the ball?
Well, there was a lot of love. At the world premiere, and remember, again, this was 8:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
The number of colleagues and friends that were there supporting me and the film, it meant an awful lot. And, it also was interesting because whenever I've attended Sundance in previous years, I was in control of my schedule. I chose where I was going to be, what I was going to see. Well, when you're the subject of a film, and also tie in JJ, the directors, we had an itinerary.
Ooh.
We were told where to be.
You were hemmed in.
Each and every day. As the festival went on after the first half, it became a lot looser.
Yeah.
But we had 15 minutes here, a half hour there. We were on live local TV. We were on radio. We were being interviewed by press. We had photo shoots, including by Getty Images, all this stuff.
Ooh.
We were told where to be, and it was a strange feeling to not be able to decide where I'm going to be, So anyway.
So now you're that guy.
But when I go to Sundance this year,
you're off the hook.
I'm going to once more be in charge of where I will be.
Now, we actually had a question from, not a listener, he was a guest, but he's a friend of the show. Big Daddy Jimmy V, shout out. We were talking about festival interdependencies or rivalry. You know, if you're at this festival, you can't screen at that festival.
Yeah, are there rules to that?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a very complex issue.
Okay.
And there are so many festivals. One thing also, at the beginning, when Sundance emerged, there weren't all that many film festivals. There were a few festivals that were quite old. The San Francisco International Film Festival was the oldest film festival in America.
Uh-huh.
And then Berlin and Cannes in France were all old. But there weren't all that many film festivals. And now
we've all got them.
Now
Montclair has one.
Yeah, Montclair film. I mean, there are so many niche festivals. There are LGBT film festivals. There are Black film festivals, Asian film festivals, or Asian American
anime film festivals.
There is one for it's East Indian.
Okay.
There's
Bollywood type stuff. Or East Indian would be.
And there's also things like environmental film festivals and women's film festivals. I mean, you know, and
as there should be.
And towns, you know, that you've never heard of. So, but the question you asked about eligibility.
Mm-hmm. Or, interdependencies and that kind of thing.
Interdependencies.
Yeah.
There are certain festivals have certain rules as far as premieres.
Uh-huh. Okay, so premieres.
And they're the larger film festivals. And I don't want to go into specifics because there's a lot of politics, a lot of everything. However, just know that there are certain festivals that demand a certain kind of premiere.
Mm-hmm. Exclusivity.
You know, sometimes there are some festivals that only demand like a world premiere for those films that are in jury competition, but they show films that are not in jury competition that can have shown in a festival too. A festival or two.
Yeah.
But there are so many festivals with so many rules that would be impossible for me to articulate.
Yeah.
There are some festivals that intimidate filmmakers and they really want to get as many world premieres as they can. So they say, if you're in another film festival, you probably won't get into ours, you know. Well, it's not true.
Because if they pick you, they pick you.
If they really want to show you, they show you. And they end up having their fair share of world premieres or North American premieres or East Coast premieres or West Coast premieres.
New York premiere.
But that's just some festivals. There are other festivals, and some festivals have changed. They used to demand premieres. And there's one festival, I just don't want to name specific festivals.
That's fine.
But there's one film festival that decided to change one year and to not even ask premiere status.
Okay.
It was off the boards. And they just programmed the films they wanted to show. And they ended up, interestingly enough, with approximately the same number of world premieres and U.S. premieres.
Wow.
You know, and all festivals...
You figure you should chase your passion if
no,
you're going to do that.
All festivals, almost all festivals, demand a local premiere. You know. But it's very interesting that one of the older, more venerable film festivals that's now past its 50th, I think it was the 54th, was the New York Film Festival, is the New York Film Festival, which is still a prestigious festival. All they require is a New York premiere.
Oh.
A local premiere. And they are kind of sisters under the umbrella of the Film Society of Lincoln Center and the Museum of Modern Art. Some people are involved in both the New York Film Festival and a festival in the spring at the Museum of Modern Art called New Directors, New Films, which is where Clerks screened after Sundance,
yes.
And before Cannes,
Right.
they screened at New Directors. They also only require a New York premiere. But all festivals who are A-list, let's say, or B-plus list, or whatever, kind of don't want to show films that have shown everywhere. It's like
you need some uniqueness, some reason to bring people in.
Yeah, like sloppy seconds over here.
Sloppy tenths.
And 11ths. Oh, God.
So, but festivals will...
That's pretty sloppy.
That's sloppy.
Festivals will bend rules. They will bend rules.
Well, it's their festival.
If they really want to show something, but their rules help them sometimes in rejecting a film because of their rules.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, we don't want to show your film, they're able to say, we can't show your film because of this rule. So,
Did you get that, Jimmy?
Yeah.
So,
Big Daddy.
So that is my complicated...
That was sort of our answer. We knew that there were some, but it really was festival by festival.
It is festival by festival.
Right. And they can change it if they want.
But
and I think I've done a pretty good job of not... With my clients, of course, because I do strategize festivals with clients, I talk about individual film festivals, but I just don't want to hear...
Yeah, understand.
Absolutely.
You don't have to make that qualifier. But
yeah, we understand that.
Yeah.
We understand. You don't want to badmouth or say anything about
anyone. And it isn't even bad-mouthing, but it's so complicated.
Yeah.
So complex. And also...
They can pick you at the end and it's irrelevant. That's how you got into Orlando.
But... from year to year, you don't know what rules they might change.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah,
that's why, I
have a guide.
I tell people, as of this year, these are the rules, but that doesn't mean. And the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, for qualifications to be considered for an Academy Award, they change their mind every year. They're always changing rules and everything. It's hard to keep up. You really have to check the latest regulations.
Okay, well, which is pretty much what we thought.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing and crazy. So that answers your question, Jimmy,
Yeah.
that we were discussing. I had that vibe too, but I had another question. It just went.
But everything is bendable, malleable.
Oh, how did it feel to be chosen by Orlando out of the blue?
What was that?
You guys didn't submit.
We did not submit to Berlin. They just wanted to show us. Well, hey,
that's got to be an honor.
This is what happens after a while. You hear from people, and they outright invite you.
It's so nuts, too, because did you meet Jerry?
Oh, yes.
Now, he...
I know Jerry.
He is friends with Michael Joseph Consolamagno, who was on the show last week, who was our DP, or one of our two DPs on the documentary for the past year.
Yeah.
And... it was so odd because I was talking to him on Twitter, Jerry, not knowing it, and was like, oh, and we're shooting a movie, and our DP knows Jerry da-da-da over there, and and he was like, this is Jerry, holy shit. So it was one of those kind of moments that the world is very small.
Oh. It's incestuous. I mean...
It's incestuous. I like that, huh?
Show business. You find out all the time. You're always finding out, particularly if you're traveling around, going to festivals and other events, that people that you know separately know each other. I mean, it's a
small world.
Interconnected. It really is. And every year I'm surprised to find out that so-and-so, who I've known forever, and so-and-so, who I've also known forever, know each other, and I didn't even know that. It's just, that's showbiz.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of what we've been kind of experiencing on a micro scale of late, and it's kind of neat.
Sure.
Anything else that we need to fill the listeners in? We've been going for like 3 hours or some crazy thing.
No, not that long.
How long? Because I have to
It's
keep
4:30
every time
now.
I have to stop. I just get the most recent time.
It's 4:30, so maybe like 2.5. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, well, just...
I'm going to cut this up,
this is our annual
Yeah.
podcast.
Yes.
And it's perfectly timed because I've been able to review a very different year for myself. And I'm able to, before it happens, announce and promote finally the hometown New York premiere of Film Hawk.
And that's on the 12th of November. A day you will remember.
Saturday afternoon,
Yes.
late Saturday afternoon, 5:45 for all you people who like to sleep in on Saturday.
Yeah.
And if you're a Kevin Smith fan, I mean, to me, I like Clerks, I liked Snowball Effect, and this is sort of like another chapter of that, another layer of that story peeled back.
Yeah, anyone who loves Kevin, they'll get quite a dose of Kevin in the film, even though it is about me, and there are a lot of other people in the film. But Kevin, as I said, has the most screen time other than me. And he's there at the beginning, and he's there in the middle, and he's there at the end.
You guys have the most adorable interaction. You two.
Yes. In the film?
Yeah, they're just...
You actually have a good interaction with Jay and Ty in the film.
Yeah, you
and
have a great
I saw
interaction
online
with
somewhere,
the-
it seemed like I saw a review that seemed like they were dinking Jay and Ty for putting themselves in the movie, but I actually liked that scene. I think it was... It added flavor and
was
warmth.
great.
And it showed
I
a
liked
good side.
it. Yeah.
So...
It was done well.
Can't please everybody.
It was done well.
Anyway, I just feel that anyone who cares about Kevin or Clerks
you're gonna love it.
will enjoy the film, and they'll learn more than they ever expected to learn about me.
But the guy who just happened to stay in the theater that day, just happened to decide to see a movie about quick convenience stores.
Yes.
That was it. That was what drew you in.
Yes. At the beginning of the market where I discovered Clerks, I saw the page for Clerks with this shitty still. And it was Highlands, New Jersey. And I thought,
I don't even know where that is.
Oh, my God. This could be awful. But I read the blurb, and it was a convenience store. And I said, that's interesting.
I agree.
Interesting setting. It could be awful. And since it's the last day and I'll be worn out, if it is awful. I'll just leave.
Who took that classic picture of you in the front? I mean, the fact that they have that shot is amazing.
That's the weirdest photograph of me I've ever seen, and I don't know who.
Yeah, because it doesn't almost look like you. You have to kind of double take.
I look like an alien.
With the
your mouth is kind of open, and you're like,
it's weird.
But you have those big round glasses on.
The fact that
I
it's
have
from
no idea.
The fact that it's actually somebody thought to snap the empty theater with only like you in the front row and some of the cast.
Yeah, and I didn't find out till afterwards, and of course this is in various other things, but I sit very close, and I did not know that they sent a spy to sit behind me.
That's right.
To gauge
who's he? What's he doing here?
How I was reacting and if I was laughing, and I was laughing, and I was poised to leave. You know, when you are at a market, as opposed to a festival even, you have to walk in and out of stuff because you don't know what the hell you're in for. And I don't fully settle in my seat. I'm kind of, and I have my hand on my bag, and I'm ready to leave if, you know.
Yeah, if it's just like, wow, this is connecting.
And with Clerks, there was just a point where I just took my hand off my bag, and I settled back in my seat.
37?
And I was in for the long ride.
Was it 37? Because usually that's where it turns people.
37
in a row.
In a row.
Usually it's the dick sucking scene where around where Brian and Marilyn are
I
at the
have
table.
no idea at what point.
Yeah,
but and it wasn't.
And that's what it was for Harvey apparently.
And it wasn't cheesy black and white. I said in my program note for Sundance that it was the cinematic equivalent
of a garage
band. I knew
Scary,
it.
I know that.
I know it looked like shit, but I love black and white. But no, there was just something about it that held me. And Kevin knows how to write dialogue.
Yeah,
he really does.
So I mean, I just knew I was in for the ride. And one of the wonderful things that Miramax did, because it screened at Sundance before it was acquired by Miramax, so it was projected in 16.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked its usual cheesy self.
Yeah.
They
blew it up, right?
But they blew it up to 35. And when you blow up cheesy 16 to 35, it's got a delicious grain.
Yeah, it's
to
very
it.
grainy.
A wonderful look to it. And they added a new soundtrack. They put
better sound, better
songs on the track that it didn't have. But
I've watched the original.
But I love the look of the 35 blow up of a black and white 16 film. It's just,
and that's
it has texture.
Yeah, and here's the thing with digital, that's going away. You're not going to see a lot of that.
Well, you don't get that texture in a digital film.
It's funny. Bruce Campbell, we were talking about him in the car. You couldn't quite place him, but they in his book, which is Tales of a Hollywood Confessions of a Hollywood B actor or something. But they talk about originally trying to blow up original 8mm footage to 32. Yeah. And it does not hold up.
Isn't it something about
35?
35. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
but
the name
speaking of gigs,
but I have seen things that were shot on Super 8 that were blown up to 16, which can look interesting.
Yeah.
But
But to hear Dave Klein, like sometimes I'll put on some commentary tracks. To hear him technical talk, is to me amazing. That's why I so want to have him on, because I think he's a fucking genius.
Well, he's on the East Coast now.
Oh, is he fine? Yeah.
Didn't you know he's shooting some series?
Yeah.
I forget the name.
Yeah, he's been shooting.
He's been in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
he's been in Brooklyn.
What the heck was it? The last one he shot was Homeland. Yeah, Homeland. He's been all like James. I'm in Africa.
And the Bruce Campbell book is If Chins Could Kill, because I knew it was.
That's right.
If Chins Could Kill: Confessions of a B-movie Actor.
Yes, I got the subtitle.
Yeah, I like that part. That's why I knew it had something to do with his chin.
You know what's funny? But that book came out quite a few years ago, and there wasn't an audiobook until like the last year or two.
Yeah, and he reads it.
Yeah,
that's why it's great.
Makes it great.
Yeah, that's why it's great.
Yes, I agree. Well, Bob, it has been a pleasure having you on the show yet again. Hopefully, we'll get you in before a year goes by, but maybe we'll be talking about another documentary.
Oh my God,
next year.
there'll be other things to talk about.
Yes.
So, I will, within the next few months, I'll be finding out if a film that I have been consulting on as a dramaturg and a consulting producer for 4 years.
Wow.
4 years, baby.
And it's a candidate. It's waiting to
that
hear
actually makes you feel good.
Whether it's in Sundance and Berlin.
Exciting.
And so... And I'm not going to say anything else. But, things take time. Sometimes.
They sure do.
And you spend years on some things, and they either bear fruit or they don't. But I'm cautiously optimistic, and if so, then I would love to have it play the festival circuit, and I'm sure it will play the festival circuit. As to whether it'll be in Sundance and Berlin, those are two of the hard ones to get into.
That actually makes me feel so good that you're like, oh, it took 4 years.
4 years.
Because, I still think back to when we were met with you the first time. We're like, we'll have it done in 6 months.
6 months will be done. Bah!
It's like a year
That's
later.
a joke.
That is a joke. and I think I told you.
Yes, you did. You were pretty honest.
You squashed that pretty quick.
But in my mind, I still believe 6 months up until 6 months clocked by.
Oh, Bob, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I thought it was 30, 40 years in film.
This is 40 years of
I
experience.
just got here yesterday.
But I am looking forward to what happens in the coming year. But I will not be the director or the talent, and I'll be able to have more control over my schedule than I have been this year.
You've had quite no control over your
He's been
schedule
the belle
this year.
of the ball for the past year.
Isn't
But
it
it's
the
good.
best?
I mean, you had it coming.
Listen, you've gotten the attention you deserve.
Yes.
And you deserve more. Then the year's not even over yet.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
There's more time.
And there will be screenings of Film Hall in 2017.
Yes.
It still has not shown outside of the U.S. We haven't been pushing it, but we are going to push it in 2017, and we'll begin with English-speaking foreign countries. We're going to go for the UK and for Australia.
Yeah, you'll have
yeah.
Kevin's got.
I don't think you'll have too hard a time.
Yeah,
I'm surprised at how many UK listeners we have.
There's so much support for VSQ and
Hi,
Smod.
we love you, UK.
The Smodco.
We do have a lot.
We love you.
There's a lot of Smodco support over there too.
There is, and also, and it's so weird too because when you tell them. They're like, really? There is?
Yeah.
It's like, do you know how many of your people, do you guys talk to each other?
Yeah.
Because you should. There's a lot of you.
So. I think they probably do.
I think they are now. They're beginning to.
Interesting to know if there are any clubs that have formed or are forming.
Well, we know some friendships that have definitely started, like Gallifrey Stands as a podcast, and we mentioned Indie Mac User.
Indie
Those
User,
guys are
yeah.
all becoming close friends, and they sort of intermingle on each other's shows.
And they actually went to a con together over the weekend.
Yeah,
so, they're able to meet and, go to cons together, go to the festivals together, go to the premieres together, go see Kevin speak live together.
When we went out west to go film, we had support of listeners and friends, and we didn't have to rent a car because Big Daddy Jimmy V
People are
loaned
so
us a car.
sweet.
Yeah, it was a wonderful trip.
Yeah.
It was a great time. That's the only other city I think I want to live in other than New York.
Oh my God, I want to live LA. But I want to live LA in the. I couldn't figure out which season.
Winter?
No, because I kind of like the winter here.
You like the snow?
Isn't that weird? I know it's weird.
Oh,
I like the fall here.
Yeah, I want to be in the city in the winter and Jersey and
well, after
California.
Christmas you leave. That's when you leave.
After Christmas, then we go to LA for the rest of the year.
I'll tell you, I'm 78 years old.
You don't want to live there.
And I don't seem like 78 to a lot of people. But in a year and a half, I'm going to be 80 people, and I haven't stopped yet, and I'm not going to stop. But as you get older, winters
they suck.
are harder and harder on you because things are happening to your bones and your joints.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I have to be where I have to be.
Right.
But boy, would I love to spend winters in warmer climes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're 8 years older than Donald Trump himself.
Oh,
listen, we didn't even get into it.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid it.
All of us here,
other than a few,
don't mention Donald Trump again.
It would be preaching to the choir.
I can tell you that all I want to do is on November 8th, go to the polls and vote, and it'll be fucking over. And I can't wait till it is
I'm automatically attracted
over.
to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet.
Oh, please.
You're a magnet for
Who
a big
needs,
turd.
Oh, I am. I've just had it.
I know.
I just want to vote.
And our poor Hillary having to put up with this. I mean, we've had to put up with it. But her having to put up with having to run against him. You know what I mean? This is the first woman president.
Well, we asked Donald about it, and he said,
I moved on her like a bitch. I couldn't get there, and she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her.
He doesn't care if they're married. He just moves on them.
See, that was what I was surprised didn't blow up bigger.
He moves on them.
They didn't isolate. To me, that was the most offensive part of all of that, other than they grab him by.
Yeah.
But the fact that he had no respect for someone's wife at all. I mean, it's not surprising hearing it out loud.
He has no respect for women.
I am surprised.
He has no respect for human beings.
Listen, I am sick and tired of the whole fucking thing.
I agree.
And we're doing this podcast the day after that FBI guy.
Yeah.
Comey. Released.
What a boob.
Something that had no substance, no concreteness, no specifics.
It's making a false equivalency.
It's just, who needs that?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have something, but you don't have anything.
No, you don't. And you just kind
So
of...
shut the fuck up.
I did try. She was married.
Oh, stop that. I don't even want to hear his voice.
I don't even,
Oh, right. You guys are all so...
Yeah, but
you guys are all so much
now we're just
better
over
than me.
it. We just have a week to go almost. We're ready.
Time to kick back, take some beers, and smoke
some weed.
Ooh, smoke some weed. Yeah, sure.
Well, thank you, Bob, for coming on.
Love
again.
you, Bob.
We're out of here.
Bye, everybody.
Love to everybody out there.
And remember,
in the various universes that are represented by this podcast.
Yes. And remember the 10th and the 11th for Shooting Clerks. And then on the 12th, Film Hawk. That's of November. But go to ThatManOnFatman.com where all the details will be there. And we'll see you next time.
Yes. And there you have the second half of Bob Hawk And Chris Bain, that's right, yes, my favorite actor. Yes, indeed. Is he my favorite actor?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Because he is amazing. And otherwise it
doesn't matter who we are.
I don't even know how that works. It doesn't, but oh well. But I will say this about Chris Bain.
That's a lovely, lovely voice.
Are any of these working for you?
Yeah.
Ooh, you heard my unmasked Bane voice without
filtration.
Well, so there you have it. Did you enjoy that? Are you Bob Hawk? Are you film hawked and
I love it.
And Shooting Clerks out yet?
It's actually nice to put them together because everybody loved the first part.
Yeah,
Whereas,
yeah.
I mean, the closer together they are,
Especially
the better.
Bob.
Bob loves.
Bob couldn't get any closer to Chris Bain.
Bob
if he
loves
could get any
Chris
closer to Chris Bain, he'd be wearing the same pajamas.
He would.
Hang on. Whoa, shit.
He would share pajamas.
Yeah.
He would share pajamas with Chris Bain.
Yes, he would share more than that.
Very cute. Yeah, he's very enamored by him.
There you have it.
And Chris Bain's very adorable. That's why. So,
Yep.
What can I say?
Well, you can say.
My name is Guy LaPointe.
Yes, it is.
Yes, you
say
can
it again.
My name is Guy LaPointe.
I will.
Thank you.
All right. Well.
And it's a grand name.
Yes. Well, if this show feels forced and packed in, that's because it is. Yes, that's right. we're really pulling this one out. What is it called? We're really phoning this one in. We're frazzled. We're waiting for the end of the election.
Funneling this one in.
Phoning this one in.
Phoning this
We're
one
phoning this one in.
Funneling this one in sounds scary.
But the good part is the bulk of the work had been done in that we had that great second part of that interview.
Yeah, the interview is great. And the next time we speak, hopefully a woman president will be in the White House.
Yes, but let's not talk about that until we know. So maybe after Miss Tessie Groupie's pick, we'll lay on you our elation or our ultimate depression as to who the president is, because we're going to save that segment for tomorrow morning when we know. Maybe we won't know. Maybe it'll be another frickin'...
Oh, my gosh.
There will be another hung jury situation. Who knows? But so you'll know by the end of this show if we knew, even though you'll know anyway because you already knew.
Yeah.
Because you won't have to do any time traveling.
No, you will not.
Speaking of time travel, we really... Cameron and I talked today about seeing Doctor Strange. And, all right, I watched both Kevin and Mark Bernardin's review of them today, and I don't know. My reaction to it was very strange. It was like I had like a little religious experience in there, or a little spiritual experience, or a little, I don't know. It was very intense for me, and there were lots of times where I felt just like tears coming out of the corners of my eye, just at certain moments, and a lot of them. And they weren't even necessarily, it was like, I just, the mythos of this hero, they did it right, and they did it in such a way that might not click with everybody, but really clicked with me.
See, you click, though, with, if you don't mind me examining you for a minute, you click with that sort of thing. Like, you click with Jessica Jones, you click with Doctor Strange. There's like a heady thing, but you're a heady.
Well,
you're a heady.
It was more than that. I mean, there were moments.
Person,
I mean, the surrender to win part. I was like, oh,
I know.
I was starting to come apart a little.
And
well,
like
I wasn't coming apart, but it was all good. It was all good stuff. I was like, I can't believe they're doing it right. They're doing it right.
It was very empowering. There was an empowering feeling about that movie.
I also love that. Spoilers. He defeats sort of the bad guy in such a. It's not. It's right. It's like right out of the comic books, but it's genius, and it's in the way they do it.
Right.
They're not afraid of the source material. They're not afraid of the weird mystic angle of the whole magic thing. It was some sort of weird thing that happened to me in the theater, and there was at least 4 moments where I just felt tears coming out of the corners of my eyes, and I wasn't even sure necessarily why. And there were some of them during the very psychedelic parts. It was just like, they're doing this right. But Mark Bernardin's review was I felt a little more harsh
than
Kevin's. But he still said he liked it. He didn't love it. But some of the points, like, it's hard to describe this without being a spoiler, but he sort of sacrifices himself to solve the problem.
Right.
And Mark Bernardin makes the point that nobody sees his sacrifice, and so therefore it doesn't have resonance. But I would say to Mark Bernardin, in retort, should he ever listen, that what anyone who has gone through any kind of spiritual program of any kind or any finds out that one of the hardest things that you can do, that you're able to, that any person can do, is to do a seriously kind act to somebody and not tell anybody.
In a quiet way.
Yeah,
without
not
knowing,
tell your
without
friends, not tell a confidant. I mean, obviously the person, and if there's a way to do it so that even the person who's the recipient doesn't know, even better.
Yeah.
Point being is that is one of the hardest acts to do.
Right.
Because in telling someone, you're, in a sense, getting the mojo for you.
Right.
Which,
now, see, but he was trying to say, since it's a movie, we want to see it.
I got it. But my point being is, in a sense, them seeing that sacrifice defeats it.
Right.
Defeats the
I
ultimate humility of the act.
Yeah, I loved the movie, too.
But it's debatable. That's a minor qualm.
Wasn't
I loved it too. So it was if you get a chance, folks,
Benedict Cumberbatch was amazing.
Do yourself a favor, go see it. It might not be everybody's cup of tea. Again, another thing what I love about these Marvel movies, they're using that universe to paint, they can have little subgenres within the Marvel universe. So you've got Ant-Man that was like comedy, it was comedy superhero. It really was. It was superhero light, comedy light. It was a different flavor than many of the heroes so far. As was this. This is
totally different.
Yeah, this is a very different flavor. And I had heard that they're tying back to the psychedelic 60s, and I was impressed. I knew it as soon as I heard it. Astronomy Domain from fucking... no, not Astronomy Domain. Interstellar Overdrive. Even a more unique pull from Pink Floyd, which is the one that goes... You can just go down the neck on the guitar.
Yeah. Great. It's really good.
So yeah,
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, it was a good movie. And you realize how much Stan Lee made Doctor Strange very much like he's Tony Stark, only he's a doctor as opposed to weapons developer. Yeah. So they're like the same kind of character and the same kind of arc.
Yeah, they have like an ego.
Although he goes through it much faster. Again, there's one of the night nurses is in it too. So there's a lot going on. It's a very cool movie.
That's good.
Do yourselves a favor and see that. It was nice. And I also want to say another thing that's been great, especially with this election going on, take my mind off it. Thank God they reissued Skyrim. Oh, so good to be back. Since I'm doing like things about talking about the movie that we just saw, Doctor Strange, I really am convinced now, best show on TV, the show that totally gets me thinking and talking, much the same way, like you were saying before, like things that stimulate me.
Yeah.
Westworld.
Yeah,
Cameron and I showed him episode 2 now, so I'm bringing him in a little bit of indoctrinating him.
He likes it.
Yeah, but like the show, like we have to pause it and have like 20-minute conversations because it just gets you thinking about the nature of reality, the nature of life, the nature of, what is intelligence, what is not intelligence, what has rights, what doesn't, all these fundamental questions. The show is so damn thought-provoking.
Yeah.
So they're up to episode 6. Episode 6 was amazing. I loved it. It's like, it's a turning point for the show. It's probably the first turning point for the show.
Cool.
I love everything they're doing. The woman who is she's the madam. She runs the brothel in Westworld.
Yeah.
She's so hot.
The black lady?
Yeah. I'm so enamored with her. I'm enamored with both of the main robot chicks.
Okay.
There's the one, the blonde, whose name I can't remember right now. I can't remember any of their names, but they're robots.
Okay.
That's not a spoiler. I mean, you'll learn that very quickly in the first episode, that there are robots and there are people. And robots is a very light word for what they are.
Very cool.
It incorporates, if you played Skyrim, you kind of get that vibe. As if Skyrim was Westworld in real life, and you could go there as a park. So it's definitely, if you're a video gamer, you'll love it. If you're a sci-fi person, you'll love it. If you hate the Western genre, you'll love it. Yesterday, Cameron and I went off on not a tangent, but we fell down a rabbit hole because of the show, because of Ed Harris, the pistol he packs. We're like, is that thing real? And I had a feeling it was, because it was a 9-shot revolver, but I wasn't so sure about the shotgun function that was also in it. But fucking A. So it was like a 9-shot revolver. It was a French gun. And underneath the main barrel was a 20-gauge shotgun barrel. So that you had one single shotgun shot also in case you needed it. So 9, and there were 45 caliber, I think 44. There were the 44. But so a significant caliber. It wasn't like a little tiny, this thing can lay guys out, and does on the show. Just like one of the many rabbit holes that we fell down, and which also tells you that the writers are, and the people that do the show are, doing their homework about what was actually used during the period. So, there I waxed nostalgic about Westworld, the greatest show on TV right now.
Very good.
I love the Marvel Netflix shows, yes, but right now Westworld is hitting it out of the park for me. So many levels. Love it. Love that show. So, and I don't know if I would have loved it. Another discussion. I don't know if I would have loved it as much if it was bingeable. Probably would have. But I'm in at the ground floor, and it's like I look forward to each week. It's like, oh, another episode. Like even more than Flash, even more than all those shows. This is my jam right now. Westworld is my jam.
Very good.
All right. So enough of that. We hope that we're going to cover the Tesdy Groupie, but before we do, we're going to talk a little bit about next week's show. Next week's show, you're going to get something very special. That's right. We're about to launch a second podcast that we've had in the works for a little while. We've been talking about planning and, gathering up the materials, unlike this show, which was actually closer to the mark.
Right.
We've got enough of this under our belt. We know what we want to do with the next show. So we've been kind of putting it together. So next week, I think you're going to get a taste of that. So look out for that. I don't want to say any more. Just want to tease that. So that's right. A second show. It'll be a weekly show, and it'll be a little more free form. It's still subject based, but it's a much more flexible subject. So not that this isn't, but you know what I mean, folks. Anyway, so look forward to that next week. Until then, make sure you... we're going over to Tesdy Groupie now. Yeah. So this will be... Oh, I lost track. I know we're in the 90s. It might be 95. Are we on 95? We're in 94. Jeez, I wish I remembered. Oh, well, she'll tell us momentarily. I'm sorry, Tesdy Groupie. I forgot. I know we're in the 90s. I know it's not 100 yet.
No, it's not 100.
We're getting close, though.
95, probably.
I think it is 95. But I could be wrong. It might be 94. And I'm just off. Or it could be 96, although I don't think it is.
You're allowed to be off. It's okay.
Am I allowed to be wrong, Gene?
You're allowed to be off.
I'm allowed to be off?
Yeah.
Wrong? Okay. All right, here comes Tesdy Groupie out here. What's going on? Yes, I know we set up the Tesdy Groupie pick of the week, but I think in an effort to get this show out quickly, to give people something to take their minds off things, I haven't gotten the pick from Miss Testy Groupie yet, so I'm just gonna drop this show without her pick. I'm sure she'll understand. Buys her time anyway. And so if it doesn't feel like a regular show, it doesn't feel like a regular show to me tonight. So in lieu of a Testy Groupie pick this week, and I'm leaving all this in because this is just where I'm at. I'm just gonna say, I don't know what the fuck happened, folks, but I know I'm scared, and I'm very worried. I'm very concerned, and I feel awful for a lot of reasons and a lot of people, and it's the Monday morning quarterbacking that's going to happen on this is going to be insane, and I feel so manipulated. Or America. I mean, I don't even know. I feel. I don't know what else to say, but you're smart and good, folks. Thanks for listening.
Go get him, that man.